Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel Skinny on Carbs. My name is Andrea, and on this channel I try to use my background in biology, histopathology, and naturopathic medicine to help you live the life that you dream of and deserve. Okay, I just finished my lunch. I'm still having my tea, so I might be doing that a little bit. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not a pretentious person, so I don't really care. Maybe you might. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't even comb my hair. I just slap a headscarf on and take a video. So, but I'm not pretentious. I don't wear makeup. I don't do any of that stuff. Whatever. How you see me, what you see is what you get. Okay, so let's get into it in this video. I saw the request for the what I eat in a day. I've seen it multiple times, and I'm going to do one. I'm probably going to do one on Monday. So I'll try to make that my next video, the what I eat in a day. I really hate doing, I've never done a what I eat in a day video. I really don't like to do those because people tend to watch what you eat and then they try to mimic it. Despite what you tell them, they'll still try to mimic what they see because that's just how the human brain works, right? So I really don't like to do what I eat in a day videos, but I will. And that is going to lead me into the topic of the video, right? In terms of people doing what they see and not what they heard, like not following what you're telling them, but they look and they see something and they mimic that. And so, anywho's it. I have to defend Cole Robinson because I see the comments, I see the complaints, I see a bit of the griping and the whining that's happening around what appears to be a mixed message from Cole, which I do not think is the case at all. I don't think he's been giving mixed messages. I don't think he's been flip-flopping. I think you guys are seeing something else. So weeks ago, or months, about a month or so ago, I saw Cole pop up. I saw his message pop up. And I started paying attention because I could smell the carbohydrate sugar train coming, right? And I was happy for it because it's been something that a lot of us in the plant-based community have been preaching for quite some time. And I was happy to see that somebody who was not in the plant-based community was finding the merits of it and teaching it as well. And I thought, okay, this is going to be great. However, I had some reservations, right? But I didn't say anything immediately. I kind of just waited to see what he was saying. And at this point, I hadn't even been back on my YouTube. I had been taking a very long hiatus. I had a lot of shit that was going on, deaths and whatnot, that I was still kind of recovering from. And I really just took a break from YouTube. And I also stopped seeing clients and interacting with clients because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I could probably get into that a little bit later on. But when Cole first came out, Cole basically just took something and rebranded it, okay? He didn't discover the sugar diet. It's been something, like I said, that has been known and practiced in the plant-based community for a very long time, for decades. But he saw the merits in it and he took it and he rebranded it. And good on him. You know, he was trying to which is also to his fault. What I'm gonna say next is he was trying to sensationalize everyone, right? And instead of just saying carbs or simple carbs, he said sugar because he knew that was going to be a trigger, right? And he's also speaking to a certain crowd. He's coming from the keto world, like true keto, not the carnivore stuff. Carnivore stuff is not keto. That's more Atkins. That's high protein. Even though they think they're doing keto, they're really not. But he's coming from that space, right? And so he was talking to that crowd and he wanted to sensationalize them and to shock them. And so that's what he did, basically. So he became sort of like a hype man for simple carbohydrates in a space where previously this crowd wasn't really aware of, you know, meaning they're not a plant-based crowd. Now, the reason I keep bringing up plant-based is because even though he doesn't want to say it, I'm going to tell you, carbs are plant-based. You do not get carbs from animal products, right? but he's not trying to ostracize anyone. And so he's not calling it what it is. He's rebranding it and he's saying sugar. Okay. So he's sensationalized you guys because he knows that on the internet, everybody wants to be sensationalized. And that's the way he's going to grab attention. And so that's what he did. Now, when he first came out, he was clear as day. I heard him clear as day. He said to you guys to build your protocols, your sugar protocols. And at that time, he wasn't differentiating between fast and diet. That's a nuance that he picked up later because certain people were whining. Now, in the beginning, he was saying that you that you build your protocol around whole foods. He said it clear as day. He said wet juicy fruits. He said sugar fast on wet juicy fruits and juice. That's what he said. And then he said your weight is going to drop. It's going to drop fast. So you have to look at your sodium, and you need to bring sodium in via tomatoes, vegetables. He even showed you guys cans of tomatoes and tomato, well, I forgot what it was. I can't remember if it was tomato sauce or canned tomatoes or whatever. He was showing that he was eating in addition to some canned veggies. He said, just watch your sodium. He said this clear as day. But for some reason, you guys did not hear that, okay? And what I saw you guys doing, like overnight, channels pop up overnight, they popped up with all these people showing you hordes of candy, hordes of gummies, and table sugar being thrown in water and just drinking it as a meal. And immediately I said, okay, I'm just gonna come out with a video and let you guys know. And if I can find it, it's not that long ago I made this video. I'll link it below. But I came out immediately and I said, you guys are fucking up his protocol. That's not what he said. He said that you need to base your protocol around fresh fruits and vegetables, okay? Watch for your sodium. Don't free fall your weight. Don't let your weight free fall. Watch it if it's free falling. Bring in some sodium. And he showed you guys the tomatoes. He showed you guys all this stuff. I even commented and say, you guys can just bring in some celery. And I was called a Karen. Oh, you just do table salt. I said, okay, hold on. Like, I wouldn't do table salt. And I have my reason for saying that. I could talk about that later. But I came out with a video and I said, you guys are messing this thing up, because if you do your sugar diet on sugar, isolated sugars, there are a whole host of problems that are going to ensue. I would not do that. I was called a nag. I was called a nag, okay? And I'm pointing fingers and I'm being nagging. Listen, no, I'm not. If you don't want to listen, that's fine. It's up to you. But we have a saying in the island, who don't hear does feel, okay? If you don't want to hear with your ears, you're going to hear with your ass. That's how life goes. So if you don't want to hear what I'm saying, it's all right. Life is going to teach it to you anyways. You're going to figure it out. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you guys don't get to fuck up his protocol and then come online and whine that he's flip-flopping. This is his other fault. His fault is he did not stand 10 toes deep in his original message, which was build your protocol around fruits and vegetables. Fruits and juices, and to bring in the veggies if you need the sodium. That was what he said. I heard him clear as day, okay, when he said that. But what he did was, again, Cole is very nice. You see, you guys think that he's abrasive or whatever. No, that's just a front. That's a YouTube persona. That man is being too nice, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to appease to everyone. He's trying to do the whole I'm not a vegan baker routine, right? Because he's trying to appease to everybody, and he doesn't want to shit on anybody's parade. And I get that. But when you do things like that, when you don't stand strong in your protocol, you get swayed by the wind. Okay, you get swayed by the wind. And so he started showing you guys candies, and he started talking about how he popped fast. And you guys took it to mean that that's what you should do. And so you just kept running with that. You kept running with the soda fast. You kept running with the sugar water. You kept running with all these protocols that he did not actually say you should do. When he's showing you that he's eating candy or he did a pop fast, that's an experiment. He's not building his protocol around that. He's running experiments. Cole can do that. He's at a certain weight where he can do that. I said that clear as day, that you guys cannot follow what this man is doing. Listen to what he's saying. He's telling you guys how to do it. He gave you guys the secret sauce for free. The secret sauce that the rest of us charge you for, or used to charge for. I don't charge nobody for nothing. But he's giving you guys the sauce for free. He told you what to do. But as grown people, you guys did not want to hear that you should not build your protocol and your eating habits around candy. You didn't want to hear that because Mark Smelly Bell is eating candy and he looks amazing. Okay, but you don't know what he's on. You don't know what other stuff he's on. I'm trying to be a voice for reason, okay? I'm trying to tell you guys that the way you guys started this protocol was unreasonable and it was not sustainable. And it didn't take long to show. And so now all these problems started popping up and he's trying to put out all these fires, aka the sodium fire or the potassium fire or the free falling of the weight fire, which he told you guys about from the very beginning. He said it clear as day. And if you had built your protocol around the fresh fruits and vegetables like he said, and simply bring in the hard sugars if you need more calories. If y'all had done what he has said, you guys wouldn't have had these electrolyte issues, okay? Because you don't need to pour sugar or salt on anything or everything. It is not necessary. You can easily source sodium from veggies. You can easily source sugar from fruits. It is easy. It is not hard. The protocol is easy. It is not hard. What is hard is your mentality. Okay, that is what's hard, because nobody wants to hear, as grown as y'all are, nobody wants to hear that they should not be eating goddamn candy as a meal. Don't nobody want to hear that, because if you don't eat candy as a meal, you're not going to lose 10 pounds a day, and God forbid you don't lose 10 pounds a day, which he warned you guys not to do. Because if you, he's not saying it, but I'm going to say it, if you continuously lose weight that quickly, you are not just losing fat, you're losing other crucial things. Muscle is one of them. I don't give a damn how many calories you're eating. The laws of thermodynamics will not cease to exist just because you don't like it. If you are free falling your weight, you are biomimicking in the body starvation. I don't care if you're eating 4,000 calories, because weight loss means calorie deficit, whether you like it or not. There is some form of calorie deficit that is happening in your system that's not being calculated by you. I've said this over and over again. This is why he was trying to tell y'all forget about the calories in the beginning. Not because calories don't matter, but it's because you guys can't regulate that. You can't set that. Your body is going to do that. Your body is going to bring your metabolic rate up, or it's going to lower it based on your activities. You don't get the say in that. So even if you're eating 4,000 calories, if you're losing weight, there's a deficit. It means you're burning more calories than you're taking in. Period. Point blank. If the weight is coming off fast, and I mean fast, it means your calorie deficit is hot and heavy. And what that's going to signal to the body, biomimic in the body, is starvation. And the way to lose muscle is through starvation. Everybody thinks sugar makes you lose your muscle, but sugar doesn't make you lose anything. Starvation is when you start losing muscle. And you're biomimicking that when you let your weight free fall. And he told you guys not to do that in the very beginning. He told you guys not to do it. Okay? So you don't get to blame him for not listening, doing your own thing, I'm gonna run my own experiment. I'm gonna have to tailor things for me. Okay, well, if you tailor things for you, then you gotta stand in your consequences, and you have to stand in the results of your experiment. That is what a good scientist does. That's just how it works in anything in life. We are adults here. How do we not know this? How are we not accepting this? You are an adult. The man told you what he told you. He didn't mince his words. He said build your protocol around fresh fruits and vegetables. He said don't let your weight free fall. He said bring in the sodium via the tomatoes and the tomato juice and the V8. Y'all didn't do it. Shit goes awry and you start blaming him. And because he's nice, he's trying to shimmy and jimmy and accommodate everybody. But it's not going to work. You can't please everybody. And he's seeing that now. So now he's trying to backtrack and go back to his original thing, which is telling you guys you're all stupid. Nobody told you to build your protocols around candy, and that you got to bring some salt in, and you can't lose 10 pounds a day. But he has to take some of the blame for this too, because what he said out of his mouth is not what he showed in his videos. He showed y'all the candy. He titled his videos that said lose 100 pounds a day. You know what I'm saying? This is what he showed you guys. But he was trying to do it, in his defense, he was trying to do it to bring you in. He was sensationalizing you guys. And I mean, we're now seeing the fruits of that. But I feel like somebody has to defend him. He is not flip-flopping. He really isn't. His message is solid. His science is solid. He tries not to get sciencey on you guys, but you can, when you listen to him, he knows his shit. He knows what he's saying, okay? He's not lying. I think he's a little bit twisted with the whole salt thing, and that's because he's coming from it from a mainstream performance-based sort of weight loss-based perspective. But there's a reason why us in the plant-based world tell you to stay away from rock salts, okay? And I said this in a video before, and maybe I could find it and post it below. But when you take in rock salt, when you take in inorganic salts, you throw your aldosterone off, and your body constantly tries to throw the sodium off. Your piss and your urine is always going to be salty, and your body is not stupid. If it's throwing the salt off, it's because it doesn't want it. It doesn't want that salt, okay? You're not supposed to be taking in that much salt. You have a very specific potassium sodium ratio that you need to keep. And if you source, the ratio is perfect in the fruits and the veggies. Not just the fruits, in the fruits and the veggies. He told you guys that you can sugar fast with veggies too, because veggies are carbs. Veggies have carbs in them. You can sugar fast on your veggies, and you will not slow down weight loss. But some of y'all don't like veggies, and boo hoo hoo. I'm 10 years old and I don't want to eat my veggies. Okay, so don't eat your veggies. Let's see what happens in your experiment. Let's see how that works out for you. Anywho's he told y'all about the veggies. The ratios are there already for you. You don't have to be a mathematician and a chemist to go figuring out how much salt you need and how much potassium you need, because you don't even know. You have no idea. How are you going to calculate this? How do you know? You just playing it by ear? You just playing it by ear. I'm just gonna pour some salt on my food because I don't know. My water is retaining, or I'm losing too much water. You have no clue what's happening. You just trying shit, and that's not a bad thing. But just so you guys know, a lot of the experiments that you're running that you think is new and revolutionary, it's not. A lot of us that have been in this space for as long as we have seen these experiments before. We can tell you how it's going to end. That's why he said to you, don't let your weight free fall. Bring in some sodium via the tomatoes. You don't need a lot of it. You don't need a lot of sodium, okay? The reason you've got to bring the sodium in is because once you stop taking in the rock salts, the earth-based salts, once you stop taking those in, your aldosterone, your hormone levels take a long time via your adrenals to get back in balance, okay? And I said already that you guys have to support your adrenals for weight loss. That's why taking in candy as food is just plain stupid, because there are other bodily systems that need support that is going to spank your ass if you don't support them, right? So here it is. You didn't support your adrenals with the veggies. You didn't support your adrenals with the green juice. You didn't support your adrenals with the celery or the celery juice. You didn't give your adrenals any support. You just fed yourself straight sucrose, and now you can't understand why you feel the way you feel, why you're having fainting spells, why you're holding on to water. Well, okay, your aldosterone takes a while to level out. Up to 2 years. That's how long it takes to get your adrenals back online and functioning very well. Okay, so it can take that long for your aldosterone to get back in order, and in the meantime you're still going to be throwing off the sodium. Okay, so what you have to do in the interim is you have to support that and bring in sodium. Notice I did not say salt, because there are other salts that you need. Sodium is not the only salt. People say salt and they mean sodium, but there are other salts. When really it's not the salt you need, it's the minerals that you need. You don't need an inorganic molecule, aka magnesium chloride or sodium chloride or potassium chloride. That's actually not what you need. Just like you don't need protein, you need amino acids. So I'm telling you guys right now that you don't need inorganic salt, aka earth-based salt. What you need are the minerals. You need sodium, you need magnesium, you do need some chloride, you do need potassium, but they come in the fruits and the vegetables. They're already there. If you eat fruits and vegetables, you will get them. If you need more sodium, eat more vegetables. Okay, juice them if you need to. Go get some V8. Okay, get the low sodium V8. You don't need to pour salt on everything. It's not necessary. You're just throwing off the sodium because your aldosterone is off. It takes a while for it to level out, and your potassium may or may not be off. Most people need, just so you guys know, you need way more potassium than you need sodium. There's a ratio that exists. You need more of it. Some people have speculated, I've heard 5 times more in the scientific community, 5 times more, up to 20 times more. But you need a significantly more amount of potassium than you do need sodium. So if it's off, right? If your sodium is too high, and everybody thinks their sodium is too low, but it's not that the sodium is too low, it's that you are not taking in the potassium at the correct ratio. And those of you that are taking in just sugar, table sugar, no fruits and vegetables, your potassium is too low. So if your potassium is too low, it's too close to your sodium levels. So what your body is going to do is it's going to throw off the sodium. It's going to throw the sodium off in order to get the gap right? Because it has to be a gap. There has to be a gap. So in order to get the gap right, it throws the sodium off. Problem is, sodium never leaves on its own. Sodium always takes other things with it, other electrolytes with it. In any event, it throws the sodium off. Now you read that as you are too low in sodium, when you're really not too low in sodium. Ain't nobody too low in sodium. Anybody that's eating a regular diet is eating salt on their food. How are you too low in sodium? You're not too low in sodium. You're dumping the sodium because your potassium sodium ratios are off, and it needs to get that gap going. So it's dumping the sodium. It doesn't want it right now. It needs more potassium. So you need to take in your potassium, support the sodium dump by taking in your veggies, green veggies, leafy greens. Leafy greens has sodium in it. Celery has tons of potassium, has tons of sodium in it. If you think the vegetables are out to kill you, then I don't know what to tell you. Go buy some salt and some potassium chloride and play chemist and see how that ends up. I really don't know what to say to you. But Cole was clear as rain. Clear as rain. That man was clear. His problem is he's trying to be too nice. He's not trying to tell y'all the simple, hard fact that if you want to lose weight, you have to be plant-based. He doesn't want to say that because he's not trying to politicize anything. But this has nothing to do with politics or politicizing diet. It's a hard fucking truth. The crux of the matter is, you guys are now seeing that you can lose weight on sugar. And I've never heard anybody source sugar from an animal product. Not one of you can show me how you source sugar from animals. You can't do it. Your macro split ideally should be 80-20. 80% carbohydrates, 10% protein, 10% fats. It doesn't have to always stay that way. It doesn't always have to be that way. And I'm gonna tell y'all like this: when I first started doing raw, when I first started my losing weight like a mad woman, I wasn't looking at macro splits, and I was losing weight like a beast, and I was eating up to 20 to 30% fats without even knowing it, and I was still losing weight. Okay, still losing weight. So it wasn't until later that I brought my fats down because I felt it in my ass. I got spanked on the ass when I had my fats that high. It happens. It's gonna happen. Natural laws do not suspend themselves because you don't like it. Okay. So I know that was a rough one. I know I kind of went off on that one, but you know, come on now. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You guys are grown. You really need somebody to tell you that you need to eat fruits and vegetables. You really need somebody to tell you that you can't build your life around candy, cakes, ice cream, or whatever bullshit it is you're trying to eat. And then you blaming this man. You blaming him because you decided to make lunch Swedish fish or nerds or gummies or candy or what, or Jolly Ranchers or whatever. You really went and sucked down all that citric acid in the candy and in the store-bought juices as a meal, and you thought this was okay. You took in all that red dye number 40 and somehow you thought this was okay. You really needed to, did you really need somebody to tell you this? You did not. You did not need anybody to tell you this. You just went ham-ha crazy like a kid. You got spanked a little bit and now you're upset. Stop it. Stop it. You guys know better. You want sugar, eat fruits. You want sodium, eat veggies. It's just that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay? Don't overcomplicate it. If you don't want fats in your diet, don't eat avocados, don't eat nuts, because you're eating fruits and veggies. Stop eating meat right now. Put meat back in later on when you've got to your ideal weight. It's just that simple. Straight up. All right, you guys. Bye. I've ranted long enough. Bye, you guys.